Dear friends, welcome to part 2 of the soul-stirring journey, Dr. Happiness. If this is where you've joined us, I urge you to pause and revisit part 1 first. That's where the heartbeat of this story begins. You'll witness Marina's desperate fight to save her newborn, the unwavering support of Dr. Ivanovich, and the moment Nina's world shatters with a truth she never saw coming. Part 2 picks up where emotions run deep and choices become life-altering. As the threads of love, sacrifice, and destiny tighten, every character is tested in ways that will leave you breathless. So settle in, because what unfolds next will touch your heart in ways you didn't expect. So, without any further delay, let's step back into the story and find out. Dr. Ivanovich goes to the bank, determined to speak directly with Nikolai. As he walks in, a guard stops him, asking who he is there to see. When the doctor says Nikolai, the guard asks if he has an appointment, then calls Nikolai to check. Dr. Ivanovich tells him to say he is from the maternity house and wishes to discuss Marina. On the other end, Nikolai refuses to meet any visitors that day. Disappointed, the doctor leaves. Later, while reviewing reports, Nina arrives holding a new suit. She explains it is a surprise, an English suit for him to wear that evening when they go to dinner at the city's most expensive restaurant, recently opened by the future mayor, Nikolai. She has heard he dines there almost every night. Hearing Nikolai's name, the doctor agrees, knowing he needs to speak with him. That evening, they arrive at the restaurant. Not long after, Nikolai and his wife walk in. The doctor approaches, greeting him politely and introducing himself as a doctor from the maternity house. He explains that he knows the bank helps many patients and requests support for a newborn who needs an expensive surgery. Nikolai tries to brush it off, telling him to come to the office later, but the doctor insists the case is special. The baby's mother once worked at their bank. Her name is Marina. At the mention of the name, Nikolai's wife's eyes widen in recognition, and she abruptly leaves the table. The doctor warns Nikolai that a DNA test would reveal the truth, and, as a future mayor, such a revelation would not be easy for him. Nikolai says he will see what can be done. The doctor thanks him and returns to his table. The following day, Nikolai drives to the maternity house. Marina is outside, working as a cleaner. He approaches and apologizes for his past behavior, leaving her surprised. He asks to speak privately, and though she says her break is still 30 minutes away, he insists it will be fine and invites her into his car. Marina is happy. Nikolai has come to see her in person. He tells her he is sorry for everything, that with the election ahead, he will take care of all the baby's needs from now on, acknowledging the child as his own. He only asks that she keep the matter from the public, warning what could happen if the media learns the truth. He urges her to stop Dr. Ivanovich and the DNA test, promising to handle everything else. Marina feels reassured. Meanwhile, Yana's husband approaches Dr. Katerina, asking for a DNA test to secretly confirm if he is the baby's father. She questions if it is necessary, but he pleads for her help. At the same time, the head of the maternity house receives a visitor, Nikolai's wife. She says the bank wishes to make a donation and asks what the hospital needs. The doctor lists outdated machines that require upgrading, but Nikolai's wife interrupts, saying she wants to help someone in urgent need of surgery. The doctor thinks for a moment, then mentions a newborn with no father on record, who will not survive without immediate surgery. Nikolai's wife asks to see the baby. The doctor instructs a nurse to take her to the room. Standing outside, she asks where the baby's mother is. The nurse explains she works there as a cleaner. Nikolai's wife says she wants to speak with her privately and asks the nurse to call her. A short while later, Marina arrives, and the moment their eyes meet, both women recognize each other. Nikolai's wife offers a polite congratulations, saying she has come to see Marina and Nikolai's baby. Marina firmly replies that the child is hers and has nothing to do with Nikolai. That night, when Nikolai's wife returns home, she finds him working at the table. She tells him she has just seen his and Marina's baby. Nikolai denies it, calling it a lie, but his wife says there is no point hiding it. She knows everything. Nikolai stands, apologizing and insisting he will handle the situation, even offering money. His wife, in tears and furious, says she doesn't care about him or his child. Nikolai pleads with her not to turn away, saying he needs her support with the election only days away, but she storms out. The next day, Nina visits Dr. Ivanovich, bringing a meal she has cooked herself. As they talk, a nurse arrives with urgent news. Marina's baby's test results are in and must be reviewed immediately. The doctor apologizes to Nina and leaves, stirring jealousy in her heart. In the meantime, Nina spots Nikolai arriving. He walks straight to the baby's room, where Marina is working. They stand together at the window, looking in at the child, unaware that Nina is watching from a distance and piecing the truth together. Nikolai enters the room to see the baby up close, calling Marina over. Standing beside the incubator, he repeats that the boy is his son. Marina is overjoyed to hear her child acknowledged by his father. She takes out the toy Dr. Ivanovich had given her, and they spend a few moments together before Nikolai leaves. That night, Nikolai brings Marina to his home for a private conversation, offering her reassurance. But the sound of another car outside interrupts them. His wife has arrived. Nikolai quickly ushers Marina out through the back door. Waiting outside, she calls him, but he pretends to end the call. Inside, his wife tells him she might forgive him on one condition. She wants Marina's baby. Unable to have children herself, she argues that if the baby stays with Marina, he will not get proper treatment, so taking him would be best for everyone. She insists this is final. The next day, Marina is at work when she hears the alarm from her baby's room. The machines are flashing red. Panicked, she calls for the doctors. The hospital springs into action. The baby has suffered a heart attack. Meanwhile, Dr. Ivanovich is preparing to leave for Munich with Nina. His mother urges him to propose to her there and marry soon after, but he says he needs more time. Back at the hospital, Marina repeatedly calls Dr. Ivanovich. His mother answers, and Marina, her voice trembling, says it is urgent. Her baby is in critical condition. His mother says nothing. Nina enters, takes the phone, and hangs up. Back at the hospital, doctors rush in and out of the baby's room, but Marina is not allowed inside. Dr. Katerina is busy calling other hospitals, desperately searching for a ventilator, but none are available. Tears stream down Marina's face as Katerina tries to comfort her. Marina asks if her baby is dying, but Katerina reassures her they're doing everything possible. Summoning her courage, Marina calls Nikolai. She begs him not to hang up, explaining that her baby is dying and urgently needs a ventilator. Nikolai is silent for a moment, then says he will see what can be done before ending the call. His wife, standing nearby, hears everything and he asks her if she truly wants the sick child. The scene shifts to Nina and Dr. Ivanovich on their way to the airport. Nina is glowing with happiness. She has been waiting for this moment for a long time. Meanwhile, Dr. Ivanovich's mother is quietly struggling with guilt. She carries the weight of knowing an important truth she has not shared with her son, and it leaves her feeling uneasy. At the hospital, Marina's weight feels endless. She has no idea what is happening inside, her hands and feet trembling until she sinks to the floor. Elsewhere, Dr. Ivanovich receives a call from his mother. She tells him she forgot to mention that his patient, Marina's baby, is in critical condition. The hospital had called earlier. The doctor ends the call just as the taxi arrives, but instead of heading to the airport, he instructs the driver to take him to the maternity house. Nina tries to stop him, but he leaves, and she collapses in tears on the street. In the meantime, Nikolai arrives at the hospital, bringing a ventilation system for the child. The equipment is quickly sent for setup. Meanwhile, Marina sits silently on the floor, her eyes heavy with worry. Dr. Katerina gently offers her some water and speaks in a calm, reassuring voice. The surgery must happen today. Marina hesitates, pointing out that there's no specialist available. Dr. Ivanovich, the only experienced surgeon, has already left. But Katerina insists, this is our last chance. There's no other option. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Just then, Dr. Ivanovich rushes into the hospital. He's visibly tense, racing toward the operating room. From behind, he calls out to Katerina, "Get the OT ready. I'll perform the surgery." A wave of hope spreads through everyone present. Preparations begin immediately. Ivanovich gets ready, and Marina watches in stunned silence. He enters the operating theater, but before closing the door, he turns back and approaches Marina. She hands him a piece of paper and says softly, "This is my consent for the operation." Ivanovich nods and replies, "Trust me. Just pray for your child." As he tries to shut the door, Marina stops him and says, "I don't know if my child will survive, but I trust you, and thank you for everything." The operation begins. Several doctors join Ivanovich, assisting him with full focus. Sweat beads on their foreheads, and tension fills the room. Outside, Marina stands silently, staring at the door. Ivanovich occasionally glances toward her. In a whisper, Marina speaks to herself. "You're my son. So smart. I've dreamed so much for you. We'll walk hand in hand together. This dream cannot break." Time passes slowly. Night falls, and the surgery continues. Marina waits anxiously outside. Finally, the door opens and Dr. Ivanovich steps out. Marina looks at him, and he meets her gaze. Walking up to her, he says gently, "The curse over your child is lifted. He's still sick, but he's safe." That's the moment Marina had been waiting for. What could be more precious to a mother than hearing those words? She looks upward and silently weeps. Ivanovich sits beside her, and through her tears, Marina says, "Thank you." Soon, Dr. Katerina also comes out, praising Ivanovich for his tireless effort. She congratulates him. Everyone feels a sense of relief. Nikolai and his wife also arrive. Marina looks at them with gratitude, then embraces the doctor and cries. In the next scene, Nikolai speaks with Marina, explaining how he arranged the ventilation. Marina thanks him sincerely. Nikolai responds, "He's my child. It's my responsibility." They step aside, and Nikolai repeatedly tells Marina that the boy is his son. Marina begins to sense something deeper. Nikolai explains, "The surgery is done, but there are still many expenses. He'll need constant care and expensive medicines. You know my wife can never become a mother. Just imagine, your son could be our son. He could grow up as the mayor's child in the city. What could be better than that? I'll buy him the finest toys. Money will never be a problem. Whatever he needs, he'll have it." Hearing this, Marina becomes furious. She declares, "He's my son. I fought for him, and I'm not alone anymore. A good doctor stand with us." She insults Nikolai and tells him to leave. Marina cries uncontrollably, while Yana tries to reason with her. She says, "You've destroyed your son's future with your own hands. What will you do now? Clean houses in 5 different places? How much will you earn? Can you really raise him properly? You had a chance to give him a life as the mayor's son, and you threw it away. You've ruined his future." With those words, Yana walks away. Marina's child has survived, but her pain hasn't ended. Reality still surrounds her, and she weeps like someone utterly helpless. The next morning, Dr. Ivanovich's mother arrives at the hospital. Her son hadn't returned home the previous night. A nurse informs her, "Sir performed a very critical surgery last night and fell asleep afterward. The child is now stable." The nurse then asks if she'd like to speak with the child's mother, who's working nearby. She calls Marina over and introduces her. This is Dr. Ivanovich's mother. The elderly woman greets her. Marina, overwhelmed with emotion, expresses her deep gratitude. She says, "It's because of your son that I got my child back." But Ivanovich's mother responds coldly. She says, "I'm glad to hear that, but I'd be even happier if you let go of my son. Release him from whatever responsibility you've placed on him." Her words pierce Marina's heart. She quietly returns to her cleaning duties in the lab. A while later, Dr. Ivanovich walks in. Marina barely speaks to him. When he gently asks her something, she replies, "Thank you for performing my son's surgery. I just want to know, how much do I owe you for it? I may not be able to pay all at once, but I'll return it in installments. You can deduct it from my salary if needed." Dr. Ivanovich doesn't respond. He hadn't expected to hear such words from her. Without saying anything, he quietly walks away. Marina hadn't meant to offend him. She only said it to distance herself, because of his mother's harsh behavior. The following day, we see Marina sitting outside a house. It's Nikolai's residence. Soon, a luxury car pulls up. Nikolai steps out, surprised to see her. He says, "I thought you'd never come back." Marina replies, "I've decided to accept your offer. For the sake of my child's future, I'll give him to you." Nikolai smiles and says, "You've made the right decision. This is what's best for him." But then Nikolai's wife speaks up. She says, "The most important condition of this deal is you'll never see your son again. This will be your final goodbye." Marina's throat tightens. Her eyes well up. With a trembling voice, she asks, "What kind of condition is this?" Nikolai's wife repeats firmly, "That's the deal. If you agree, it goes forward." Marina lowers her head, silent for a moment. Then, for the sake of her child's future, she agrees to the painful condition. Meanwhile, Dr. Katerina contacts Yana's husband. His DNA report has arrived. She congratulates him. The child Yana holds is his. The DNA matches 99%. The next day, a grand event is organized at the hospital. Nikolai and his wife are taking their child home. Media outlets gather to cover the moment. From behind a window, Marina watches quietly. Tears stream down her face. The child she fought so hard for, the one she endured endless pain to protect, she now has to hand him over to someone else. For a mother, there's no greater heartbreak. As the child is taken away before her eyes, Marina stands frozen. She remembers every moment, every sacrifice, and cries for a long time. The following day, we see Yana's husband arriving to meet her. Yana is visibly surprised to see him and steps outside, cradling her child in her arms. They sit down together, side by side. Yana gently places the baby into his hands and quietly says, "I'm sorry." Her husband responds, "I can't forgive you right now. I'm heading back to the city. I came only to say goodbye." Yana tries to explain, "I don't know what Marina told you," but she didn't speak the truth. Her husband interrupts, "Who is Marina?" Yana replies, "She's just another woman from my ward." Her husband smiles faintly and says, "I don't know her. Everything I've heard came from your ex-husband. No outsider told me anything." With that, he stands up and walks away. He's still testing Yana's sincerity. Meanwhile, Yana begins to realize she misjudged Marina. Marina never wished her harm. At the evening, Marina arrives at the reception desk. She sends a nurse off on an errand, and in that moment, she discreetly steals a few sleeping pills. Just then, Yana walks in. She approaches Marina and says, "I'm sorry. I bought a few things for your child from my heart. Please forgive me. I misunderstood you." But Marina replies, "These things aren't needed anymore. My child is no longer mine. I've already given him away." With those words, she walks off. Soon after, the nurse informs Dr. Ivanovich about the stolen medication. He becomes deeply concerned and immediately begins searching for Marina. He asks the nurse, "Where did you last see her?" The nurse replies, "Near the lab room." Dr. Ivanovich instantly understands where she might be. By then, Marina is moments away from consuming the pills. Just in time, Dr. Ivanovich reaches her and stops her. He holds her tightly as she breaks down in tears. He asks, "Why are you doing this?" Through sobs, Marina says, "What's the point of living? I have no one. My last hope was my child, and I've sold him away. I'm a terrible mother." Dr. Ivanovich tries to comfort her. In that fragile moment, he's about to share what's in his heart, but Marina interrupts him and says, "Please don't say anything more. I'm done with this madness." She then gets up and walks away. The next day, Yana is seen leaving the hospital with her baby. Outside, her ex-husband waits with a bouquet of flowers. Yana walks up to him and says firmly, "Why are you here? I've told you before, loving you was a mistake. I don't feel anything for you anymore." He responds, "But that child is mine." Yana replies, "No, this child belongs to my husband, and he's the one I love." Her ex insists, "Your husband doesn't love you. He told me that himself." Yana calmly says, "That's my personal matter. I'd be happier if you never appeared in front of me again." With that, she gets into a taxi. Just then, a luxury car pulls up. Yasha's husband steps out and stops the taxi. He gently lifts Yana and their newborn into his car. A silent exchange passes between him and her ex. It becomes clear Yana's husband had been testing her love, and now he has his answer. Meanwhile, Dr. Ivanovich is deeply broken. His mother enters his room, sits quietly beside him, and says, "Someone else's child will never truly be yours. When your father died, I never remarried, because I feared no one would ever accept you as their own." Ivanovich responds in a heavy voice, "Marina's child doesn't feel like someone else's to me. But don't worry, Mom, I no longer need them." His mother asks, "What about Nina?" Ivanovich replies, "I can't pretend to love someone. Not like this." She holds his hand, and they both cry. In the next scene, Nikolai's wife tries to feed the baby, but the child keeps crying uncontrollably. No matter what she does, the crying doesn't stop. She's not the child's real mother, and she doesn't know how to soothe him. Nikolai watches from a distance, visibly irritated. His wife stares at herself in the mirror, her face showing signs of exhaustion. Her entire day revolved around the baby. As Nikolai prepares to leave for work, his wife reminds him they need to take the baby to the doctor. Nikolai says he's busy and tells her to go alone. She replies, "You forgot to kiss your son." Nikolai gives a quick kiss and leaves. The next day, she takes the baby for a walk in the park. Marina is there too, her heart aching just to see her child once more. Nikolai's wife notices her and says coldly, "This is the last time. If I ever see you near him again, I'll call security." She walks away with the baby, while Marina stands silently, unable to even touch the child she carried for 10 months. The following morning, Nikolai and his family appear cheerful, but his wife turns to him and asks, "Are we doing the right thing? Marina came to see her child yesterday. I insulted her. I feel guilty." Nikolai replies, "Marina can become a mother again. She'll eventually forget. But you can't. So this isn't wrong." Just then, Nikolai receives an urgent call and leaves. That night, the baby's health begins to deteriorate. Nikolai's wife tries to feed him, but he keeps crying. Slowly, she realizes he's having another heart attack. Panicked and unsure what to do, she calls Nikolai. But he's in a meeting and ends the call quickly. The baby's condition worsens. She calls for an ambulance. "My 1.5-month-old baby is having a heart attack. We need help immediately." She gives her address, trembling with fear. She rushes to the window and sees Marina sitting outside. Marina often sits there quietly, gathering courage. Nikolai's wife opens the window and shouts for her. Marina, the child's real mother, instantly understands. She runs into the house, frantic. Both women rush upstairs. The baby continues crying, but as soon as Marina holds him, he begins to calm down. In a soft voice, Marina whispers, "It's okay, my love. Mom is here. Breathe gently." Nikolai's wife watches in awe as the baby slowly quiets down. She begins to understand the irreplaceable bond of a real mother. The baby finally falls silent. Doctors arrive and begin treatment. Toys are cleared from the room, and injections are prepared. Both mothers, one biological and one adoptive, stand side by side, gazing at the child with tearful eyes. Then the scene shifts to a few months later. A moment of peace and joy fills the air. The baby has grown, and beside him stands his real mother, Marina, smiling. Someone enters the room, carrying diapers and baby supplies. It's Dr. Ivanovich. We realize now, they've become a family. He walks over to Marina and looks at the child and says warmly, "Look, Daddy's here." A moment of pure happiness. A mother reunited with her child. And with that, the beautiful emotional story comes to a close. In every life, both parents play irreplaceable roles. But when it comes to sacrifice, a mother's love carries a weight that words often fail to capture. She endures silently, gives endlessly, and holds on even when the world asks her to let go. What she bears for her child, physically, emotionally, spiritually, goes far beyond what most could imagine. This story isn't just about pain or loss. It's about the quiet strength of a mother who chooses love over pride, hope over despair, and her child's future over her own happiness. If even a moment of this journey touched your heart, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Stay safe, stay kind, and if this story touched your heart, carry its message forward. If even a moment of this journey moved you, I humbly ask, keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Until we meet again in the next chapter, I'm signing off with love, gratitude, and the hope that stories like these continue to remind us of the strength within every heart. Take care, and never stop believing in the power of love.